On my kicker tonight, it was the turn of Interior CS Professor Kithure Kindiki to say some of those very difficult things. Yes, so difficult that they're the kind of things you wouldn't say in front of your own character referee. Just listen to this.
The fact that somebody has been shot is not conclusive evidence that they have been shot by a police officer. It's not conclusive. Maybe there's a presumption that that bullet is the bullet of a police officer, but as a person who has practiced law for a quarter of a century, I can say this without fear of contradiction. The fact that somebody has died through a bullet where police officers were trying to control a crowd is not conclusive proof that that person has been killed by a police officer. And that's why the justice systems must help us establish the truth without shielding anybody. If a police officer went outside the law, they must be held accountable.
Now, if we had him right, the Interior CS is trying to suggest that some protesters shot dead by the police were actually not shot dead by the police. Simple as that. The suggestion here is there were guns other than those of the police that were in use during the deadly police killings. Now, Professor Kindiki did not submit to Parliament evidence to that effect. When it comes to police killings, and we can add mysterious disappearances, authorities in Kenya have always found themselves in that space between outright denial and straight-faced inaccuracies. It seemed to me that that is the space that Professor Kindiki found himself today as questions persist over the rampant killings of protesters in June. The Interior CS submitted a different body count. He said 42 people died. This contradicting the earlier figure of 61 given by human rights groups, which included the government's own Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, KNHCR. Whether 42 or 61 Kenyans died, the Kenyan reality is the June killings is not a matter that can be wished away. Those questions, just like those questions about Baby Pendo, will remain something of a national nuisance that just won't go away, especially for those from whom answers and accountability is required and expected. Accountability should, in the meantime, be extended to respecting the intelligence of ordinary Kenyans. Because when it comes to police killings, Kenyans have been treated to sometimes comical tales. At the height of post-election violence in 2008, I remember a police spokesman dismissing the gunning down of an armed protester, an incident captured on camera, as a computer graphics. It was a ridiculous argument, but one that was shamelessly sustained as the official explanation of the police to an execution that was captured on camera. Kenyans seemingly moved on, just the same way they moved on when chief government pathologist of the time, Jason Ndaka Kaviti, told them that assassinated Foreign Affairs Minister Robert John Ouko shot himself in the head dead, set himself on fire, and then attempted to flee from the scene. That is the kind of yarn spinned by authorities when under pressure to account. And it is a culture that dates back to the 60s and 70s, where killings and disappearances are not explained. That is why, until today in Kenya, Kungu Karuma remains in Uganda. He traveled to Uganda. And that is why, until his body was discovered behind Ngong Hills, J.M. Kariuki was in Zambia. And that is why, if you believe this trail, some protesters shot themselves dead exactly 3 months and a day ago tonight. That's my kicker.